Hi everyone, welcome to another video on Seiya Legend of Justice. Now, I haven't been making much content on this game recently, but I am still very much playing this in the background. So if you need any support or have any question on this, feel free to come into my Discord group and ask me directly there, okay? Now, today's video is going to be a special one because I am going to talk about how to play the simplified Chinese version of this game. Now, for those of you guys who do not know, this game basically have a simplified Chinese version and also a traditional Chinese version, and they are both, I think, at least 6 months or a year ahead of our global version. And a lot of time, people are referring to those versions to have a look at upcoming characters, to see how good they are, and also some of the newer game content, etc. Now, between the traditional Chinese version and also the simplified Chinese version, we are a lot more closely aligned to the simplified Chinese version. The characters do have slightly different skills. For example, I'm taking Hecate as an example. If you take a look at her on the traditional Chinese one, her damage reduction on her skill 1 is 40%, which is different to what we have. However, on the simplified Chinese one, it's 30%, which is exactly what we have. So if you do have to pick a Chinese version to play, normally you want to go for the simplified Chinese version. However, it's actually really hard to play the simplified Chinese version because there is Chinese mainland Chinese legislation which basically require you guys to actually have a Chinese ID to play any mobile game, and that's kind of why a lot of people have to play the traditional Chinese version instead. However, don't worry about that because I did manage to find a platform now which can finally actually allow us to play the simplified version of this game, and obviously it's going to be a lot more closely aligned to the global version. And if you do actually want to have a taste of what's coming up in the future, this should be the one that you are actually having a try about. Okay, so how do you actually go about and play this? Like I said, normally if you do actually want to play a Chinese mobile game, you are required to actually register online with your ID, which is a massive hassle. However, there is a platform which I meant to find, which is X7 Games, and they actually allow you to download directly and play the game without any kind of ID requirement. I will show you guys. I will obviously copy this link down in the comment section below so that you guys actually know where to go. But basically, upon clicking this link, what you're going to see is that there's going to be a huge button, which is basically saying download. If you click on this download button, what you're going to see is this it will basically start downloading, and in your file manager you would basically be able to see this APK which allow you to actually install it. Now by double clicking on this, you are then actually able to install the platform itself, which is X7 Games. Now this is basically the equivalent, I want to say, of Google Play for China, because obviously Google is actually banned in China, and what they have instead in China is different mobile platforms where you can download the same game, etc. But obviously there are differences between different platforms. Some platforms allow you to bypass certain legislation, which is kind of why I'm actually recommending X7 Games in order to play any mainland China games. Okay, now once you actually get onto X7 Games, what you really want to do, the first thing you want to do is you actually want to log in. Now it's actually very easy to log in, and you don't even need to register anything, because basically what's going to happen is that when you click on this me section on the bottom right, you're going to go into this account management, and what you can do is just simply click on this, click on home, and you can see there's code login and the password login. What you can actually do is go via the code login, and you can put whatever email you want. So basically you can put your Gmail address, and what you're going to do is you then press get code, and what that will actually give you guys, let me actually show you in my Chrome, which is my Gmail. What you are then going to see is that it's going to send you an email with a login verification code, and basically all you need to do is then actually copy and paste this code into the section. So you type in whatever your email, you get onto get code, and then you'll be able to log in. So that's basically how simple it is, and you do not need any kind of ID whatsoever. Okay, so I've just used my Gmail to, log in via this account without actually creating an account itself, which is very nice. And the next thing you can then do is you obviously go into the games and you search for Seiya. And when you do that, you can see a couple of Seiya games. Obviously, we want to have the Legend of Justice one. Now, when you actually click on this, I already downloaded it, but normally this should say download, and you just need to click on it, and it will download the APK in the background. Now, there are already a few things you would have probably noticed, which is actually very handy. For example, there's like a announcement when the next new server is going to be launched. This is actually something I see a lot of times being asked on Discord, and no one really knows. Fortunately for the simplified Chinese version and it's on X7 games, they actually tell you in advance when a new server will be launched, which is very nice. You can get off the gift code and redeem them as well. There's also a forum section if you want to understand a bit more about what other Chinese players have posted. You can also do that. But let me show you the gameplay itself. So obviously I can click on open once I've downloaded it. Now the reason why you want to open from the platform is because I have already logged in into my account on the platform. So if I open it via platform, the account will be automatically linked, and I don't need to send a verification code to my email again to prove my credential, etc. So that's kind of why I'm opening it from X7 Games platform. Now when I do that, you can see immediately what you can see is that this is my dummy email, and you can see that this is an account on for this game at this server, and this is the game name, etc. So I can click on this and then I go directly into the game. And as you can see, I don't need to have the hassle of any kind of re-verifying my email account or anything like that. So very, very easy to actually log in. Now the next thing I want to show you guys is obviously just some basic utility, for example translation functions, etc. Because obviously you are playing a Chinese game, so those is going to be very useful for you guys. Something else also to bear in mind is that I personally never had any issues with Seiya Legend of Justice requiring a VPN in order to be played. However, if you're using X7 games to play potentially a different game and the game doesn't quite load, try to download the VPN and set it to China and see whether that would work for you guys. But at least for Seiya Legend of Justice, I personally never ran into any issue with VPN, etc. Now, once you actually get onto the game, what you can see is that obviously you see all the Chinese content. For example, if I see character, I can see loads of new characters who are going to be in global eventually, and obviously you can take a sneak peek of their skills, etc. Now this is where the translation function is going to be very useful. So obviously you can go onto this. So there are actually quite a few different formats for translation. Screen is the easiest one. Basically what you can do is you just click on so you select screen format and then you click on this. Where is that? Sorry. Oh yeah, so you click on screen and then you basically pop out this icon with like a translation symbol. You click on this, it will translate everything which is on the screen. So you can already see all of the names, different utility functions have already been translated, etc. Now, if it's actually very text heavy, what I tend to find is that this may throw up an error, etc. or just not very responsive. So what you can actually do instead is you can use a different format, which is subtitle format. So for example here, what I can do is I can select specifically what I want to translate. So for example, I only want to translate this section, and you can see here it will translate all the text in those sections, and you can scroll up and down to see exactly what they are. So that's kind of why it's very, very easy to actually play like any foreign language game via X7 games, because they actually have this utility. The other thing I also found very useful is the speed up function. Now auto click is obviously also going to be very useful for any games where you need to farm. That's less of an issue for Seiya, which is kind of why I personally haven't been using this. But the speed up function is actually very nice. What you can do is you can speed up the game, the actual gameplay. Now, it may cause a bit of flicker, which is not ideal. However, it makes your battle so much quicker. But remember, this is not even on like ×2 speed. If I normally play this, it would take me 10 times as long because I put it up ×10 speed. So that's kind of why it's actually so much easier, especially for games such as this where you can't even control your character's attack so much anyway. It's really useful, and also it's very good for any boss battles, etc. Because what you can do is you can simply, rather than wait for 90 seconds, you only have to wait for 10 seconds and you can beat the boss, etc. So that's another functionality which I personally find to be extremely, extremely useful.